Celebrities who have killed.
What?
Brandy.
Brandy?
In 2006, singer and actress Brandy was driving along the 405 in Los Angeles when she rear-ended a vehicle stopped at the traffic light in front of her.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up to bat. Wow. It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we got to do. You got to hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. Elevate more in 2024. Elevate more in 2024, man. If that's your goal, put hashtag elevate more for sure. But we back with another TikTok compilation, man. This joint is crazy. Make sure you share this with somebody, especially if they into conspiracy theories and all those type of aliens and government and blue beam and Illuminati. Just, you know, do what you do. Also, man, you know, if you make it to the end, you already know what I need from you. And I've been seeing a lot of y'all been making it to the end on these joints and been dropping it. So shout out to the real ones for real. You know what to do, man. But let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure you do your own research, y'all. Do your own research. Don't take this stuff. Take it at face value. But I want to know what y'all think in the comments too. Y'all been dropping some real shit in the comments. But let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad, what's popping? Let's get it. Let's get it.
I went too deep. I went too deep. Have you heard of the prison planet theory? Well, guess who just learned about it? Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't sleep last night. I did not sleep last night. And if you keep watching this, you're probably not going to sleep either. So here I am minding my own business on Reddit when I found Escaping Prison Planet. And for the next 3 hours, I dove too deep. Here's the gist of it. Essentially, we're all trapped here on Earth. We're all trapped here, and everything we know.
I've heard that before. I've heard that before. But let me hear what he's talking about.
You know, like all the religions that believe in reincarnation, all these different things. Yeah, we keep coming back to this Earth because there are astral beings that are harvesting our energy, and they are trapping us here. Sounds crazy, right? Sounds crazy. Well, let's get into the details.
Let's go.
Apparently, these beings that are controlling us are these reptilian beings that you always hear about. Well, let's dive into it. You know, in Jainism and Hinduism, they have Nagas, half human, half serpent. The Aztec Empire talked about a serpent-like god that they called Quetzalcoatl. And don't tell me if I pronounced it right or wrong. I don't care, okay? Surely, 2 instances, right? This is just a coincidence. African shamans talk about the Shitari, and it is a race of reptilian beings. The Hopi Indians in North America had the Sheti, which translates to snake brothers. Chinese, Japanese, and Korean legends all talk about the Kappa. And Gnostic texts, which if you don't know about the Gnostics, Gnosis just means knowledge. And basically what the Gnostics believed was after Christ died, you have to have particular knowledge that would save you. Well, the Gnostics, yeah, they believe in archons, which are parasitic entities that feed off of us. We're doing okay? We doing okay? So the question is why? What are these beings doing? Why are they here? Apparently, they have been involved from the foundations of human history in manipulating us, creating this soul trap, harvesting our energy. And what this theory proposes is essentially that light a tunnel that many people have talked about that have had near-death experiences or death experiences. Yeah, it's just to trick us, to essentially wipe us clean, send our souls back, and start the process again.
What?
Every major form of religion talks about how we have a soul. Well, we are a soul. We have a body, right? This body is essentially a rental car.
Right.
And these beings, what they feed off of, what the energy they feed off of is this low vibrational energy. So whether it's stress, whether it's fear, whether it's contention, pain, grief, jealousy, rage.
Oh, that's why it's so important to vibrate high. Change your food, change the way you eat, change the way you think. Oh, he said that low vibrational stuff. Let's go.
All of it, anxiety. That's what they feed off of. And so they manipulate and they toy with us and they do all these things to create this energy. Now, I don't know if this is true, but that kind of describes the world we live in. Kind of describes it pretty damn well. I mean, look what Tesla says. He says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What freaks me out the most is there's so many urban legends talking about these freaking reptilians. You know, that motherfucker right there is not real, right? Like, everything that's going on in freaking Miami, like, Like, I think we can all agree that there's multiple dimensions, right? People having experiences on psychedelics where multiple people take the same thing and they all go to another dimension and see the same thing. Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? Explain it to me, please.
Back up,
I'm
man.
going way too long with this, and I haven't even freaking scratched the surface. But basically, we're just all here. Life is engineered to create this low vibrational energy. And what happens is when we die, when we go through that light tunnel, we're tricked into thinking, hey, you need to go back to Earth. There's more you need to learn, or there's karma you need to resolve, or, you know, there's a higher purpose that you need to do. And we come back, and it's the same thing. I'm a very spiritual person, very spiritual. I believe all of us as humans are connected. I believe you look at every major world religion, and there's commonalities, and that it's because it stems from this eternal knowledge. But this freaking scared the crap out of me. Because what if it's all just engineered to trick us? Anyways, I can dive deeper if you guys are interested, but if you're not, whatever. I'll just be sitting up at night, not being able to sleep.
Hey, y'all let me know in the comments, what do you think about that? Life is a whole engineered thing where you die and then they just feed off your energy. And then he pointed out how so many different cultures talk about these reptilian people feeding off of low vibrational things, anxiety, stress. Let me know in the comments, man.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Whoa.
That's Charles Manson, a man interrogated on account of cold-blooded murder. Want to know what evil truly sounds like? The following contains the most disturbing interviews with serial killers. Truly makes one wonder, how evil can 1 or 10 human beings be?
We are all evil in some form or another.
Murder. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. These 10 killers are no saints, but incarnations of pure evil. What's worse, they have no remorse. The following clips contain the most disturbing interrogations and interviews with 10 serial killers. At number 10, we have Ted Bundy. Most criminals often show fear or signs of nervousness during interrogations or interviews. Not Ted. In a jailhouse interview with Ted Bundy, it appears that the suave yet cold-blooded Bundy had quite the reputation among other notorious serial killers.
You feel that everything will turn out right, that you are innocent. Do you still feel that?
Yeah, more than ever.
Smiling through his interrogation and appearing relaxed, he was confident that he wouldn't be convicted.
I'm not guilty.
He chilling.
Does that include the time I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old?
Bundy keeps eye contact with his interviewer throughout most of their conversation, and it's easy to become lulled into a false sense of security, which is exactly Ted's intention.
If someone's crazy enough and nutty enough to do something like that, I can't stop them. There's nothing I can do.
The night before his execution, and we finally see the expression of fear on Ted Bundy. It seems not all monsters can remain that confident for long, after all. Number 9. John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was a notorious serial killer with a tendency to shift blame for his accused crimes.
You're in trouble now. Yeah, right. Aren't you afraid sitting that close to me?
This wasn't the first time evidence for John Wayne towards this end is shown in a clip documented by CBS News 2 Chicago back in 1992.
I don't believe in hitting children. I don't believe in spoiling a child either.
Accused of murdering 33 kids, and you say you don't believe in hitting. Interviewer Walter Jacobson was stunned.
33 kids, bruh? What? This shit be crazy, bro. What?
While interrogating John Wayne Gacy, who was exceptional at providing alibis to prove his innocence.
Bukovich is not one that I killed, so I don't know nothing about him.
Gacy casually demonstrated how he killed his victims with ropes by using a shoelace.
You just turn this, and I says it causes a tourniquet. I said, that's the only knot I ever learned.
Precisely the kind of knot found on the ropes of his victims.
Damn.
Number 8. Edmund Kemper. Kemper's impressive intellect and well-spoken nature would make it hard to believe that his first murder was at the tender age of 15.
I would have been a mass murderer at age 15. I would have killed until he gunned me down. I wouldn't have been able to reason my way out of it.
The killer makes a self-referential joke on his modus operandi of picking up hitchhikers by putting on a pair of glasses and asking the camera crew whether they would get into a car with him. Kemper's calm mental state is devastatingly worrisome. His documentary's exploitative narration pushes the creep factor of this killer to the top.
I am an American, and I killed Americans. I am a human being, and I killed human beings. And I did it in my society.
Number 7, Jeffrey Dahmer. It's almost impossible to miss the rage in the demeanor of Jeffrey Dahmer as he discusses his history with the interviewer, Stone Phillips.
And everybody is talking about this Jeffrey Dahmer guy, especially after, I think it was on Netflix, the documentary came out or something like that. Did it win fucking awards or something like that? I think it won awards or something. Y'all let me know in the comments, but...
I acted on my fantasies, and that's where everything went wrong.
When asked if he felt anything, having dismembered most of his victims, his reply showed his cold-heartedness and a possible loss of touch with humanity and empathy. He said,
"Killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control."
Weirdly enough, Dahmer had moments during his acts of violence when he regretted the decisions he made.
Once it happened the first time, it just seemed like it had control of my life from there on in.
Hell nah, bruh.
The film that you are about to see is jaw-dropping, and it was passed over by the New York Times. The New York Times had an opportunity to run this story, and they didn't. We're going to show you this unbelievable film in just a moment. But what's more astonishing, however, might be the cover-up and the secrecy of this top-secret film. My guest today is Jon Stewart, former candidate for Illinois governor in U.S. Congress. He spent more than 5 years investigating, proving the provenance of this alleged film, this top-secret film, which we're about to show you, and which you are about to see. And it purportedly...
So they got a top-secret film? I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just see what they talking about.
It shows an alien, an extraterrestrial, biological entity being interrogated at the S2 facility in 1997 by members of the U.S. military. Yes, an alien creature being interrogated by members of the U.S. military.
He speak English?
And just a few weeks ago, our guest, Jon Stewart, hand-delivered his entire investigation to Congressman Tim Burchett's office. And he's become the first non-government civilian to submit a report to the United States Congress regarding the extraterrestrial phenomenon. Jon, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here on Redacted.
Like most people back in 1997, this was part of, or this was a documentary that came out. I go to sit down and watch this documentary thinking alien interview. This is going to be like a weird humanoid looking person handing a clipboard over to a general at the Pentagon for a job interview. I mean, this is how my brain was thinking. And I'm sitting down, and 30 minutes into this documentary, this footage comes on. It's not professionally done. It doesn't have any cuts. There's people in the foreshadow. This gray alien is bone color, bone, like human bone. It's got round eyes, not almond-shaped eyes. If I'm hoaxing a video of a gray alien, it's going to be gray, and it's going to have the typical almond eyes.
Right.
And this bizarre physiological monitor next to the being that goes up and down and not across the screen. And then Victor, the alleged whistleblower who claimed to have helped smuggle this out of Area 51, that's the way insiders talk.
Y'all let me know if Buddy's still alive, the dude that smuggled this stuff out.
Of Area 51. And I don't think a 23-year-old screenwriter in 96 could have made up this script that Victor was talking about. I mean, the vernacular he used was bizarre, and he used a term called medical flagging. The creature starts to medically flag. And I asked my old doctor, who was about 65 years old at the time in 97, on my annual checkup, I said, "What is medically flagging?" He looked at me, he goes, "Where did you hear that from? That's like a Army medical term we used in the 50s and 60s. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And then there was some weird, an acronym on the bottom, DNI, David November Igloo /27. And Victor tells us that was the Department of Naval Intelligence. So I run for Congress 2 years later with this film in the back of my mind going, what is going on here? And I don't want to say his name anymore because I'm getting admonished for doing so, but I was on a political bus tour, and I went up to a senator during a break, and who has passed away now. And I said, "Senator, what is the Department of Naval Intelligence?" And Clayton, you look in my eyes. This guy went from jovial, happy senator to this aggressive look. And he looked at me, he goes, "You don't need to know anything about that." And he stormed off, and he never talked to me the rest of the tour. Clayton, you're a journalist, you're an investigative reporter too. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I got a hoaxed video with medical terminology from 50s and 60s. I've got a gray alien that's tan and round eyes, medical staff that are in short sleeve scrubs and not in biohazard suits to really hype up the video. I've got a monitor that I have never seen in 35 years of my life back then. And I've got 3 letters on this hoaxed video that has just pissed off a United States senator. What in God's name is going on with this film?
So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
Okay. Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray designated an other.
Do y'all believe this? Man, do y'all believe that the government is straight interviewing extraterrestrials? I wouldn't put it past them. I don't care what y'all think about this particular video in regards to if it's real or not. I do believe the government know about extraterrestrials. They said they real. They said the government said they exist. Now, interviewing them and stuff like that, I'm sure it's a lot of stuff going on we don't know about. I'm just saying.
Gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the alien interrogation and retention program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard, I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across. To monitor this bizarre heart-lung one-sac organ that the alien has.
What?
And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, but that's how bizarre this film has gotten. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was 2 men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room.
Y'all let me know what a telepath is. I'm super into what this dude is talking about. Fill me in with the telepath though.
As you can see on the tape, the being eventually starts to medically flag, if I can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I have been in contact. I have the names of the 2 doctors that are going to be on either side of this beam.
What?
On the bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Doty, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this being in the 2-hour-long interview. The interviews are conducted about once a month.
What did you start to piece together from people who were in the room? And so when we say hoaxed video, I think you're saying that was what the assumption you had going into this, that this was hoax. That was sort of the media speculation about this.
He said he got the doctor's
name. Now
you've
proven and taken it to the United States Congress, which, by the way, they're about to hold a hearing on this next week. And I think that this is, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this. And other whistleblowers are now confirmed to be coming forward to Congress next week. Civilian whistleblowers who are going to be testifying of the things that they've been a part of and seen.
Like Linda Moulton Howell told me when she saw the list, you have gold here. Why? no one has ever heard of these people before. And like Linda said, and these people are on Google and are real. And I said, yeah, they are. And she said, you son, you got gold here. And so I got the list of names, but I know investigative journalism. That wasn't just enough just to have the names. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So I started to vet every single person on the list. The first person was retired, working for TRW, and TRW. These are the men, by the way, who were behind the glass in the viewing gallery watching this thought projection interview. That's what it's called. It's not telepathy. It's actually called thought projection.
Wow.
And the first one worked for TRW. And I said, well, this is a hoax. He wasn't even in the military. Sean David Morton, who was in the office of the production company, who first got the call from Victor saying, I've got this VHS tape of an alien, said, no. TRW is like hand in hand with the government. They do every kind of secret project and whatnot. I said, wow. And Doty said that it was not filmed in S4. There are no alien housing there. The alien housing is in S2 Alpha. And I'm like, what's S2 Alpha? She sent me a satellite photo of it and said, that's what it is. It's called the Alien Retention Program.
What?
This being was brought in on a part of Project Pounce. Doty's like, I don't know the provenance of the being, but I think it was from the Kalahari crash where 2 beings were recovered. But the alien program, whether that be the retention, the interrogation, the biological reverse engineering of craft, that all is now taking place at Michael's Airfield at the Dugway Proving Grounds. The program to interview the beings in S2 was called Project Aquarius, which was basically all things about aliens in contact with.
Bro, did he do his research or what?
With human beings. And that is from the email, and that is also from Richard Doty's mouth, who is verified as the counterintelligence agent, who is in his 70s and wants to tell the story, the truth of what's going on and what the government is covering up.
Bruh, that was a lot. He said thought projection. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. That was a lot right there. Let's go.
Zecharia Sitchin, he wrote all these books about this culture from another planet called the Anunnaki. See that thing that he's holding up in front of him? That is a piece of Sumerian art. Yeah. See the star, the sun with all the planets? That is our solar system. It's not just our solar system. That is all the planets in all the right sizes. This was 6,000 years ago. It also depicted this orbit, this elliptical orbit of this planet called Nibiru. This is where the Anunnaki came from. They came down here, they studied some lower hominids, they introduced their DNA into these lower hominids and made human beings. The description of Anunnaki, what it means is those from heaven to earth came. There's these also depictions of these enormous people with these little monkey people sitting in their lap. And this was what he believed was describing the Anunnaki's genetic alterations of monkeys. Not only that, they had the caduceus, the caduceus, the symbol for medicine. It's also the double helix of DNA, and that's what he believes it represented. He believes that caduceus symbol represents DNA.
But it also looks like a guy was just like trying to decorate with 2 snakes.
Totally.
Doing the tango.
But why does it represent medicine? And why does it still represent medicine today?
What's an animal fact so disturbing you wish you never heard it? I'll go first. Male snakes have 2 pennae. And I only recently found out about this, which is surprising considering I'm a zoologist and I have a male snake. But this is just not information you seek out, you know what I mean? So of course I asked why. Turns out male snakes having 2 things is helpful in the same way that having 2 arms in basketball is helpful. When you're trying to catch a rebound or whatever, I don't play sports. Snakes form massive mating aggregations where 5 to 100 male snakes will crowd around one female, which is just chaos, and then they have to find her. So if they get lucky, whichever one is pointing towards the female will just side swipe. Oh, and sometimes it's spiky, it has spikes on it. And lizards have 2 as well. You're welcome.
Thank you for that information, I think.
Morbid Facts, Part 196. Most of the orca whales you see at theme parks like SeaWorld have a collapsed dorsal fin, a condition rarely ever seen in the wild since it's normally the result of limited swimming space. While killer whales can live up to 80 years old in the wild, not a single one born into captivity has lived past the age of 30.
Damn.
A 24-year-old Texas man posed as a minor online after claiming that police didn't do enough to keep pedophiles in jail. He eventually lured in a convicted offender and agreed to meet up with him before shooting him multiple times and killing him.
Wow.
The first confirmed minor to be executed in the United States was 16-year-old Thomas Granger in 1642. He was sentenced to death for intercourse involving several animals, including a mare, a cow, 2 goats, multiple sheep, 2 calves, and a turkey. Authorities consulted with his parents prior to the execution, and they agreed that Thomas would never be able to live this down.
What?
The parties agreed it would be best to simply execute him and wash their hands of the whole situation.
Turkey? What is up with this? Whoa. Oh.
Tuck around! Shoot this motherfucker! I can't, it's endangered! It's endangered! We can't shoot it! I'm endangered! Shoot this!
Oh, a shark. Oh, you don't want to hear that when you in the water, boy. You do not want to hear that when you in the water. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I ain't playing in that shit. Hey, I'm not jumping in no. Oh no. I'm not playing. I'm not jumping in no. Nah, bro. At the beach, I'm right there in the shallows. I seen a TikTok the other day where they had a crocodile just swimming in the shallows. Just look, I'm not going out there deep. Y'all can what? Where'd it go? Bro, where did it go? He lucky as hell. He is lucky as hell. Boats out there just chilling. It's a great white shark out there. No.
This is actually the most terrifying video I could find on the dark web. A group of friends were walking in the forest when suddenly they heard a noise above their heads.
What the hell?
And as they looked, this is what they stumbled upon. The ending will surprise you.
Bro, what the hell is going on?
Lo está manejando, lo está manejando.
Bro, what is going on?
Está rezando Junior.
So a dude just climbed up in a tree, but what the hell is... Oh, nah. Hell nah. I'm not about to wait for him to come down.
Este no es Munra. Este no es Misael. Lisa.
Bruh. Get your ass away from him. They sitting there with a phone. No. Oh, hell nah. Hell nah. He look like he about to attack.
Vem não.
Bro, he flipped that shit over, bro. If he flipped that shit over, they laughing. Eh? No. Y'all can have all that. No.
Unknowingly setting the stage for a potential face-off with the homeowner and—
Hold on. Close encounter. Texas family's unwitting guest, a mountain lion.
And her dog. The woman, recalling the event, describes the terrifying possibility of what might have been. At 2 a.m. under the cover of darkness and amidst heavy snowfall, a hungry mountain lion entered a villa, its gaunt figure visible in the footage. Winter in Texas can be harsh, making food scarce for wildlife. Drawn by the scent of a golden retriever inside, the lion stealthily approached the bedroom door, waiting patiently for an opportunity. The tension escalated as the household began to stir.
Oh, shit.
The residents, unaware of the lurking danger, went about their morning routine.
Oh, hell
The lion,
nah.
finding the warmth of the house inviting,
The
dozed
lion.
off, only to wake to the realization that daylight had exposed its presence.
Ooh.
In a panic, the lion tried to escape, but the transparent glass windows proved to be an unexpected
my
barrier.
goodness. Oh
While
my
the forest was in sight, the lion couldn't find its way out. The sounds of the waking family heightened its anxiety. The moment the homeowner opened the door, the lion bolted into the hallway and crouched down, unseen by the man. As the woman stepped outside with her dog, they unknowingly passed by the predator.
What?
The lion, now in hunting mode, crouched low, ready to pounce. But the sudden scream of the woman, upon noticing the big cat, startled the lion, prompting it to flee. The shaken homeowner quickly retreated indoors with her pet, likely contemplating the installation of a more secure door to prevent future unwelcome visits from the wild. This incident serves as a reminder of the thin line between urban spaces and the wilderness in some parts of the United States.
Oh my goodness, she laughing. Man, hell nah. The lion, a lion?
It's an epic showdown between boy and beast. 7-year-old Huxley Hardy Penner comes face to face with a black bear while riding a scooter. Watch as the bear approaches the boy, heading right towards him in broad daylight. Without panicking, Huxley stares the animal down, looking directly at him until
If he would have ran, it would have been a problem. He ain't move at all.
the bear stops dead in his tracks. No one could predict what would happen next. Then, out of nowhere, Huxley's neighbor appears. With his arms raised high, the neighbor turns into a superhero and fearlessly approaches the animal, engaging the bear in a heart-stopping game of hide-and-seek. Watch as the neighbor relentlessly pursues the bear from behind the car until the animal finally gets spooked and goes scurrying away. Crisis averted. We spoke with Huxley and his mom Brittany about the grisly encounter, which took place in British Columbia, Canada.
We've had conversations about being aware. Hey, be aware of your surroundings. If there is a bear and you're not with an adult, be calm.
Wildlife experts stress that staying calm and looking big and overpowering are key responses when confronting a bear in the outdoors. So cheers to Huxley and his neighbor for their perfect response under pressure.
I think most adults, even in that moment, would have perhaps panicked or run away, or, not everybody knows what to do there. So I'm super proud of him.
And off Huxley goes on his scooter to his next adventure.
Hey, man, I'm glad he made it. Jeez. Bro, what? Listen to him. Listen to how he sound. I'm not going in the woods either. I'm not going in the water. I'm not going in the... Look at that mother. Not me. Not me.
I'm not demanding, I'm asking nicely. As a kind...
He said, what? Psychotic suspect proposes a deal to the camera in that interrogation room.
civilian that also knows how to manipulate cops.
This is 22-year-old Russell Jones. Just hours prior to the filming of this interrogation footage, he was arrested for helping a 15-year-old girl execute the brutal murder of her father.
Let's set our clock, shall we?
In approximately 3 seconds, you will witness an extreme shift in his demeanor.
You're listening in on my conversations, aren't you?
Yeah, something ain't right with dude.
So, we can do this the nice way, or we can do it the hard way and I can release my bipolar. Let's make a deal. One, thanks for the food. Two, I see Ellie and Davin because they are both under my protection. Three, before you release Ellie, to her parents.
This dude is different.
Parent. Do a background check as well as a DNA test, as well as, well, not DNA, a drug test. And if you find out that her parent, her mom, is in fact doing drugs, you are to release her to me. Tell him to release Gavin and Ellie. Thank you. And I know I'm being recorded. You can keep that on there. Unless you're a nice cop, then I take it back. But if you're one of those two-timing, donut-eating piece of crap that don't like rules, a high school bully with a badge, I'm sorry, buddy, but I eat high school bullies for breakfast. So, you want the whole story? Make a deal, or I let out my bipolar. Your choice.
He talking to a camera.
The following footage contains never-before-seen personal accounts of the suspects involved in this crime. Through in-depth interviews, we've obtained rare insight into the minds of 3 criminals who display behavior that is among the most disturbing we have seen yet.
I can still twist your little mind.
What? These motherfuckers, man.
Celebrities who have killed.
What?
Brandy.
Brandy?
In 2006, singer and actress Brandy was driving along the 405 in Los Angeles when she rear-ended a vehicle stopped at the traffic light in front of her. The collision caused the car to be pushed into oncoming traffic, killing a 38-year-old and injuring her second children in the car. Brandy was sued, but settled with the family out of court.
Wow.
Rebecca Gayhart. While traveling through a neighborhood in 2001, Rebecca struck a 9-year-old boy as he chased a ball across the street.
Damn.
The boy died the next day. The parents of the boy filed a lawsuit against Rebecca, which was settled out of court. She was sentenced to 3 years probation and community service.
Wow.
Chris Benoit.
What?
A night of horrific events in June 2007, after a welfare check discovered WWE wrestler Chris Benoit, along with his wife and 7-year-old son, dead inside their home. It was discovered that Chris, who had hung himself, had sedated both his wife and son before strangling his wife and suffocating their son.
What?
Phil Spector. A famous music producer, Phil shot and killed actress Lana Clarkson in his California mansion in 2003. Phil was arrested and went to trial,
crazy.
Eventually sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. Spector passed away from COVID-19 in 2021 while still behind bars.
That is crazy.
You're being detained at this point.
Okay, but I'm not under arrest quite yet.
That's correct.
Okay, then I don't need a lawyer quite yet.
When the detective realized the suspect is too smart.
Do you suspect me of something?
Well, help us get this unconfused.
Because if you suspect me of doing a crime, let me know so I can get a lawyer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Don't.
Well, I don't think we've accused you of committing
No, you
a crime.
haven't, and that's why I'm still looking at these marks on my wrists and going, man, what a way to treat somebody who's not suspected of doing a crime.
Want to find anything for us about Vagabond?
You know, any stories that I tell at all about that guy, they dip into club business. They did club stuff. And I'm not going to go club stuff with you guys for nothing. That's just, it's against my rules and it ain't going to happen.
Okay.
You know,
even when he was out of the club?
That big a deal to tell you guys that he stole from the club. And then when he got caught for it, he blamed it all on heroin, which was an automatic kick out for him. So it's not like we found out about the heroin, we found out about the stealing. And when we jumped about the stealing, he blamed it all on heroin.
Here you can see that contrary to his initial stance, Mark delves into a lengthy 20-minute discussion about Robert and the club. He even started talking about unrelated stories. Following this, the cops take a 20-minute break, and then they return to inquire about his desire for a lawyer.
So a few times you've, mentioned maybe a lawyer, maybe not. We'd like to talk to you further, but we just want to make sure. I mean, it's your choice. If you want a lawyer, that's fine. We'll stop communicating here. If you don't want a lawyer, we can keep talking. And obviously, has the right to explain.
Then I must be going to get arrested, or you wouldn't have me call a lawyer in here. Then definitely I want a lawyer. If I'm going to get arrested, I want a lawyer. Yeah.
After a lot of effort, Mark Denclaw and Chad Erickson were both found guilty of kidnapping and torturing Robert Huggins to death. Mark's overconfidence led him down the wrong path. He and Chad Erickson, fellow club members, were charged with terrifying crimes. They kidnapped and tortured Robert Huggins until he died. Their lies fell apart, and the law won. Mark Mark got a life sentence, and he realized that he couldn't outsmart the law. But unlike Mark's case, DaBaby outsmarted the detectives as soon as he was brought into the interrogation room.
I know if y'all had proof of me robbing somebody, we wouldn't even be talking. Y'all would have cuffed me, I would be charged with it. That's what I know, bro.
On January 3rd, 2020, Grammy-nominated bop rapper DaBaby, aka Jonathan Kirk, flew from Charlotte, North Carolina to Miami. A police report said
Charlotte is where I'm from. Shout out to Charlotte.
That the club had promised DaBaby $30,000 to perform, but he claimed that he had only received $20,000. According to the report, when DaBaby began to demand the rest of his payment, both parties began arguing loudly until the heated argument turned into a physical fight. The only video of what happened that night was from a blurry security camera. After the incident, DaBaby left in a black SUV. But then he came back to his hotel hours later. When he returned, both the victims and the police were waiting. He was taken to the police station, where they said he was being questioned as part of their investigation. However, things didn't go smoothly for the police during the interrogation. DaBaby knew exactly how to handle the situation and made things very hard for the officers. Fast forward to the investigation room, the techniques used by detectives, and the twists that ultimately led to DaBaby's release. Let's get started.
An incident occurred at the hotel, 1500 Southwest First Avenue, that you were there for, correct?
What incident?
An incident. You had an altercation with somebody?
No.
You didn't. Did you have a business dealing with somebody?
No.
You didn't?
No.
So somebody didn't bring you $20,000 in front of the hotel in your SUV?
No. Somebody had somebody bring $20,000 that wasn't theirs and lied to them and told them that it was for an event of theirs on the 31st. And lied to them. That person, once he realized they were doing bad business, said nah and left for his $20,000.
Detectives carefully chose their words, attempting to create doubt in DaBaby's story. By using smart questions, they tried to make DaBaby's story seem less reliable and consistent. This approach helped the detectives quietly question whether the story was believable or not.
It's already a liar. I know they're lying. Got a phone call somebody that's a liar and y'all bought it. Y'all believe this. Y'all got me in here and y'all put me in handcuffs. Brought me outside the hotel in handcuffs, cameras and shit all on me. Come on, bro. This shit bad for what I got going on.
In a surprising move, DaBaby appeared to gain the upper hand. The report also claims that the rapper's team also snatched several of the club promoters' belongings, including an iPhone 7, a credit card, and $80. The Cafe Iguana Pines employee told police that someone in DaBaby's possession doused him with apple juice during the fight.
Common sense. You know what I made to even be down here? A promoter booked me at that hotel. I didn't pay to be at the hotel. I was paid for. You'd have let me in my room, you would have saw close to $250,000 cash, legally, hard-earned money. I don't got to take nothing from nobody, bro.
Let me ask you this.
I will go
This is a picture of a convicted murderer smiling after he survived lethal injection 18 times in 2009. His name is Romel Grooms, and he was sentenced to death for the kidnapping, escort assault, and murder of 14-year-old Trina Middleton in 1984. He was also convicted of 3 previous assaults and attempted murders and was scheduled for execution in Ohio. However, the executioners were not able to insert the lethal injection needle in his veins after 18 attempts. At one point, a needle stabbed his bones. A federal judge pushed the execution back 2 weeks, but Romel's lawyers argued that a second execution attempt was unconstitutional. His lawyers said that his arm hurt and his veins are damaged. They argue that Ohio's lethal injection procedure is flawed and constitutes as cruel and unusual punishment. Romel was scheduled to be executed in June 2020, but his execution was delayed again after Ohio was unable to obtain the chemicals needed for lethal injection. He passed away in prison in December 2020 after he contracted COVID-19. Follow me for more true crime stories, and it's disturbing how
18 times, bruh. It went to his bone.
A lot of people are saying that The Iron Claw might be the saddest movie they've seen in a long time. But the real life story that it's based on is so tragic, they had to cut the saddest storyline out. The movie is about the Von Erich family, a real life wrestling family who tragically lost 5 of the 6 sons, all due to illness, accident, and self-infliction. But you'll notice on the movie poster, only 4 of the sons are featured. Also, I talk a lot about the dark stories behind TV and film, so you should follow along. And that's because the oldest brother died in childhood from being electrocuted, though he is referenced in the movie.
Wow.
But it's also because the movie doesn't include one of the brothers, one who had an incredibly tragic storyline, Chris Von Erich. Chris wanted to be a wrestler just like his brothers, even though he was much smaller than them. His brothers all grew to be over 6'2", and Chris never grew beyond 5'5". Chris also had asthma, and the medication he took made his bones really brittle, meaning that they would often break. In 1984, his brother David died suddenly in a hotel room in Japan at the age of 25 after his intestines ruptured. And then in 1987, his brother Mike took his own life. Mike suffered brain damage after he got toxic shock syndrome from a routine surgery, and it left him unable to wrestle. The loss of his brother sent Chris into a deep depression, and ultimately he took his life at just 21 years old.
Jeez.
The director came forward and said that he tried to blend the stories of Mike and Chris into the movie because he didn't think it would get made if he included all of the brother stories, because it would almost be too unbelievable. And while I really did enjoy the movie, it made me sad for Chris because ultimately I don't want his story to be lost to history.
Man, you said take him out of there. That's crazy.
At just 8 years old, I weighed over 180 kilograms and became the most obese child in the world.
Whoa.
At the end of this video, you will see my current photo. I am Jessica Leonard, born in Tennessee, United States. I was an only child, and I cried a lot from birth. My mother thought it was because I was hungry, so she fed me. Every time I cried, she would feed me. This led to devastating eating habits. I started showing signs of being overweight from my first year, and my addiction to food would only grow over time.
I've seen that picture before.
My mother gave me potato chips for breakfast along with other unhealthy foods. By the age of 5, she used to order a family-sized pizza just for me.
What?
At that age, I was already drinking up to 5 liters of Coca-Cola daily.
What?
At the age of 7, I was consuming a diet of 10,000 calories a day and was addicted to junk food.
At 7?
I ate in a couple of days what other kids ate in months. My mother would buy me 15 Happy Meals from McDonald's, and I had
15 Happy Meals, and I had unlimited access to sweets and chocolates? What? What? Come on, man.
Unlimited access to sweets and chocolates. I once ate over 2 kilograms of chocolate in one day. By the time I was 8 years old, I weighed 180 kilograms.
Hold on, man. Let me look that up. 180 kilograms. What the hell is that? 396 pounds? 396 pounds? Hold up.
McDonald's, and I had unlimited access to sweets and chocolates.
How?
I once ate over 2 kilograms of chocolate in one day. By the time I was 8 years old, I weighed 180 kilograms, had trouble walking, and had difficulty moving in general. Walking was exhausting, so I preferred to sit all day.
Wow.
I remember one day I started having trouble breathing. I was taken to a children's hospital in Tennessee, and that's when Child Protective Services intervened.
Right.
I was admitted to a clinic for people with obesity problems.
Wow.
I underwent an intense exercise and diet plan, which helped me lose over 100 kilograms.
Wow.
I had to undergo surgery to remove more than 10 kilograms of excess skin and also needed physical therapy to realign my bones. My mother felt a lot of guilt because she had made me addicted to food. So, she took parenting and nutrition courses to prevent this from happening to me again.
That's real.
This is how I look now. I have continued to struggle with food, and I have never been able to maintain a healthy diet for long. I am an example of how the habits our parents instill in us can haunt us for the rest of our lives.
Ooh. How the habits of parents instill that can haunt you for the rest of your life. Man, listen, man. It ain't just food. It's all type of bad habits. It's all type of mental things, anger, fear, anxiety, stress. Man, please be careful, man. First of all, self-love, man. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you're able to provide those things that you need for yourself so you can provide those things to your family and your kids, man. That's why I'm so big on self-love and positivity, because once you get yourself in order, then you can be the best version for yourself, for you, and be the best version of yourself for the people around you. Damn.
What do you think of my story?
Crazy.
How did Marilyn Monroe really die? Marilyn Monroe, the ultimate Hollywood starlet, died on August 5, 1962, but her death remains shrouded in mystery. She was found dead in her Los Angeles home with a high level of barbiturates in her system. The official cause of death was listed as probable suicide. But Marilyn, at 36, was at the height of her career.
Wow.
Could someone so successful and loved take her own life? There are theories that her alleged affairs with the Kennedy brothers made her a liability, leading to a possible cover-up. Or could it have been accidental? Did the starlet simply take more sleeping pills than she realized?
Wow. 36.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
What I told you.
Have you guys heard of the Mars theory? There's a theory that the human race is actually aliens, and that we didn't originate from Earth, but from the planet Mars.
They was just talking about that with the Anunnaki, that the human race was genetically altered monkey DNA with alien DNA. Let's see what he's talking about. He stay eating something.
But hear me out. The theory goes that there was a civilization on Mars in the ancient past. Mars had a warm climate with liquid water on its surface, able to support life. But something happened that destroyed the planet and we had to leave. Now this is where it gets scary. There's an element called xenon. It's on the periodic table. And on Earth, xenon is mainly found after a nuclear explosion or being leaked from power plants. But xenon is found in abundance all over Mars. I mean, way more than it is found on Earth. So the theory goes this. There was a huge nuclear war on Mars. And sadly it destroyed the planet, causing drastic climate change. Mars became uninhabitable, and some people managed to escape the planet, finding life on Earth. They created a new civilization from scratch. I mean, it does make sense. Look all around us. Everything on Earth is united, except for us. We're more like a virus to this planet. So are we actually Martians?
Whole different spin, but
we just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet. Although we weren't able to shatter that hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it. We have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now. It may be hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now.
I've heard about that theory.
Dragons were real, and I'll explain. So around the same time period in, China, South America, Africa, all these different, Rome, all these places, images depicted people fighting dragons, right? And every dragon was slightly different, but it was all a giant scaly animal that could fly. When you break that down, you think about the fact that large birds had a hard time being fossilized because their bones are so porous, right? So because bones, they have like hollowish bones, they break down very easily and they don't fossilize. And the evidence is the reason there's no fossils of dragons is because they had bird bones, and they were actually very delicate animals. But a small population of these giant flying lizards existed and basically encompassed all these different countries where they all depicted fighting dragons in their own way, and they were all killed off by, knights or whatever it is, and then didn't fossilize.
Wow. Never heard that before.
Oh, I got a treat for y'all today. Let's get it. Truth about Nikola Tesla and why he was seemingly forgotten during his time period as an inventor. Nikola Tesla, born July 10th, 1856, drew inspiration from his very intelligent mom, who was an inventor as well, but more of a hobby. From the beginning, Nikola Tesla was an avid inventor and had huge interest in
Talking about kids being inspired by their parents, you can be inspired in a good way or a bad way. Let's go.
Being an inventor, an engineer. But due to financial struggles, it was hard for him to put his talent and his knowledge to use. So time and time again throughout his lifetime, he was seen helping other inventors out improve their own inventions for money. Because one, he was just that good, and two, he couldn't afford his own laboratory yet. Damn. First, you got Thomas Edison, which he helped him improve his inventions by miles. 1844, he started the job with Edison. Edison did not want to see him succeed. Thomas Edison promised Tesla that if he could improve his inventions, he would give him a $50,000 bonus. It never came. On quote, Edison saying, "You must not understand American humor." 1895, Tesla was finally able to get his own laboratory. The fluctuation of inventions began to come in. Tesla had begun experiments creating light through a flow of energy through his body. Once this started, he was invited to lectures at home and abroad about his discoveries. At this point, he had already invented the Tesla coil, which is used in radios, television sets, and a lot of other electronic stuff as well. Here's when Tesla started to make groundbreaking inventions. Colorado experiment. Between 1899 and 1900, Tesla made his most amazing discovery, terrestrial stationary waves. And the way that this worked is that the Earth could be used as a conductor. Fields in Colorado were filled with quartz that could be used as energy sources. Using this technique, he was able to light lamps from 25 miles away from each other without wires. He even claimed that one time in his Colorado lab that he received signals from another planet. And until his death, he proceeded to expand and expand and expand on this idea. He wanted to power the whole world with this free energy from the Earth. Leading up to his death, he had filled up trunks and trunks and trunks, 80 trunks, I believe, with information of his discoveries. In 1943, the CIA and the FBI sent John Trump to analyze his notes after he died. Only 60 out of 80 of the trunks were recovered. So what was done with the other 20 trunks? Each of the 80 trunks holding groundbreaking information, but it's some discoveries that they just didn't want us to know about. They did not want to provide us with free energy. Tesla wanted to do that. They took his trunks containing that information. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments.
80. Well, we got 60.
Unbelievable mysterious humans known as indigo children.
What?
This genius Russian boy, Boriska, is an absolute phenomenon, an indigo child. At 1 year old, he could read, write, and paint. But the unbelievable thing is, at 2 and 3 years old, he started talking about his life on Mars and how he used to be from the Red Planet, but had to leave there because of a nuclear holocaust.
What?
Born in 1996, his doctors, teachers, and scientists all couldn't believe, amazingly, how much this kid could come up with the actual life that he lived on Mars. His parents claim they have never taught him anything about space. He just knew it. He also claims that the answer to life's questions is hidden right behind the right ear of the Sphinx in Egypt. In a recent interview, he has said that there is other people like him on this planet. So what do you guys think? Is he from Mars, or just a kid with a 200 plus IQ, or is he both?
Wow.
Let me know in the comments. Give me a follow, like, and comment. YouTube and bio.
That sounds crazy. 1 year old can read and write.
They tell us the truth in plain sight.
Smile I've ever seen out of Mark Zuckerberg.
So the song Shake It Off was about how I shed my skin every 1,000 years. And the song Bad Blood was about how I drink blood out of my Grammys.
What? A toast
Oh,
to
there they
blood.
go.
Save
There they
some
go.
blood for Paul Rudd.
There they go with that reptilian
Why did NASA stop exploring the ocean? NASA started exploring the deep sea in 1958, but stopped in 1978. After that, they started working on getting us off the planet. They even detonate a massive explosion in the ocean in 2021. What did they discover down there? What are they so afraid of?
This shit, boy, I swear.
Jesus Christ, the Adam and Eve video, how much of that is agreed upon? That there could be a time where the magnetic poles actually shift?
This is science. They say that the last one was like 778,000 years ago, and we're like something like 200,000 years overdue. But the Adam and Eve story, the theory of that is that it happens in cycles of 6,500 years, and that it's a 90-degree flip, but 6 days later, or on the 7th day, it corrects itself. The
planet flips.
Correct. It's a
What?
planet flip flip 90 degree, and that because of it, the Earth essentially does a standstill. The sun will basically stay in the same spot, causing heating like we've never experienced, and that the wind and the waters continue with their momentum. So the theory is that when that event happens, it's going to be cataclysmic. And here's the wild thing is that in that document, it says a continental-sized tsunami being 2 miles high. Well, I showed you the Emikusi volcano in Africa in the Sahara, which is at 11,300 feet, that has salt as well as evidence of gastropods, sea lice.
2 miles high.
Yes.
Conspiracy theories that turned out to be true, Part 1. What were once dismissed as mere...
Bro, am I the only one, or do this stuff really be like... I be watching this stuff and be like... And like I said, they be having stuff to back it up.
Conspiracy theories have later been found to contain some elements of truth. People usually assume that the government does everything to protect its citizens. But behind that mysterious veil, could there be secrets too dark for the government to reveal? The secret MKUltra program of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency is a prime example of that. Exposed in 1974, MKUltra conducted drug experiments, electroshock therapy, and many other forms of psychological torture on human subjects without informing them. Many victims later suffered physical and mental breakdowns, and MKUltra did not stop at injecting drugs into the human body. Authorities also conducted many other frightening experiments. Some individuals had to endure enhanced mind control, such as electric shocks and mind control techniques, without prior notice. In particular, experiments aimed to study the power of drugs in coordinating human consciousness. LSD was injected into the body, and the reactions of the individuals were observed during their interactions with clients. You know what I mean. These seemingly harmless actions caused serious harm to the physical and mental well-being of the victims. The secrets of these covert operations were only exposed through the bravery of those who reported and shed light on the truth. However, it also serves as a sobering lesson for every government regarding ethics and limits in the use of power. Comment Part 2 and I will reply to the comment with the most likes in the next video.
Now that was actually a theory that was proven true.
Did y'all ever see this photo that NASA put out of Earth in 2015?
No. Okay.
Now look a little more closely.
What am I looking at here?
Now, before some of you tell me that I'm making this up, I got this directly from NASA's website, and it's still there.
Captures epic Earth image. What am I looking at though? Like, what is?
I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
Hold on. You let me know what was so significant about that. What was significant about that picture?
Conspiracy theories that everyone knows is true, part 1. Everyone knows the story of the man that invented an engine that ran on nothing but water that supposedly was able to go 845 miles between fill-ups.
Wow.
Somebody from the oil and gas industry got upset and got this guy whacked off basically in broad daylight. They poisoned him and found unalived. I'm going to take it a step further on this. Not only do I think oil and gas industries are doing everything they can to stop people from inventing things like this, I think they're also stopping the advancement of just regular combustion engines and their mileage. I find it very strange that outside of going to a hybrid or an electric vehicle, that the overall gas mileage of engines really has not changed in many, many decades. Considering how much things have gotten advanced in everything else in society, I don't think it's really that possible that there's no way big companies like Toyota or Honda or Ford can't find a way to have an engine that's not a hybrid or electric that can add more mileage to a vehicle. But everyone knows this is true, and this is another thing that nobody steps up and does anything about because they're scared they're also going to go get whacked off.
840 miles on water?
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
I know I'm going to lose followers for this, but I don't care. This is definitely the craziest conspiracy theory I believe in, and I'm going to let him say it.
Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources. That they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future.
Ooh. Ooh.
The Mariana Trench is no longer the deepest part of our ocean, and there are creatures that we did not know exist. Just a week ago, a group of New Zealand scientists had created a new radar capable of penetrating the ground and mapping out the floor beneath. They began using this technology on the coastal areas of the country as Zealand used to be the 8th continent, in hopes of discovering something that has been lost to us. Just 4 days ago, they had stumbled upon something unusual. They had used the radar on the west coast near a mountain system, but oddly, the radar did not detect any land after 40 meters down. A team then began excavating the area, and they found the impossible. There was a massive ocean that seemed to have no ending. The scientists got 2 submarines ready and descended down. They could not believe it. Species of fish were all around them, which do not exist in any other body of water. After 3 hours of descending, there was still no sign of the floor. And this is when they had realized they stumbled upon something straight out of a movie. Suddenly, a massive 70-foot shark appeared out of nowhere and began circling the submarine. In total disbelief, they took pictures of this creature and called the team above to bring them up. They now believe that the megalodon has been here on Earth all this time. If you want to see the pictures, comment, view images.
Whoa, view images. Send it. Let me see that.
There's a CIA document that came out. Everybody just started talking about it now. It's called the Adam and Eve story. It basically explains how the world is going to end. Has it been true? It makes sense. They say the world is going to end because the poles, like, North and South Pole, they shift every 12,000 to 15,000 years. And once they shift, it causes like a giant apocalypse. Big earthquakes, giant tsunamis. Once the apocalypse happens, we go right back to the Stone Age. And it said that our first humans, as us, it was 10,000 years ago. So if you think about it, 10,000 years ago, we're in year 2000. We're at 12,000 years right now. And now you see global warming and shit like that. In the book, it says that we are the 6th civilization that came out of the apocalypse. So we just get to a certain point in life and then it just hard reset. And that explains a lot, because remember how you were saying that the Sahara Desert used to be green and the Antarctica used to have forests and like that? That's what happens. It switches
everything, it flips.
So now some places turn cold, some places turn hot. That's why they was talking about the flood in the Bible like that. That's probably what happened to Atlantis and shit
I was
like
just
that.
about to say Atlantis. It would make sense for a city in the water if the water wasn't there before.
They might come after me for telling you this. Moving on to the end of our list here, we have the Rothschild Rockefellers. This refers to the 2 most powerful and richest families in the world. Starting off with the Rothschilds, which was 5 brothers that basically own and control the banking in all of Europe. Through this, they amassed a fortune. And since then have funded major military efforts, bailed out banks and even governments, and basically have their companies and hand in almost every country across the world. On the other side in America, we have the Rockefellers, who amassed their fortune through industrialization and the monopolization of the oil company. With this money, they were able to fund such projects like the atomic bomb, the invention of nuclear weapons, and even had a major role in funding and creating the UN. The actual net worth of both these families is unknown, but it could be anywhere from 500 billion upwards to the trillions. And the theory here is that they control everything, from what you hear, to the money you receive, to the systems put in order that you follow. And of course, guys, with a lot of money comes a lot of power. But power leads to dangerous situations. And even though this is theory, revealing this information could be very dangerous because...
Damn.
Government conspiracy theories that ended up being true. Conspiracy number 1. In 1953, the US government started Project Sunshine. It was kept secret until about 1956, when people started finding out what was going on. The project was started to measure the devastation that nuclear fallout would do on the human tissue and bones of the dead. The conspiracy theory was that the government was stealing dead bodies to actually do this research. The truth is the government was stealing bodies, and to make it worse, it was stealing babies and infants without letting the families know that were grieving as these children were dead. The government was taking their limbs. They stole more than 1,500 bodies. But of course, nothing was ever done about it because it's the government. Let me know in the comments what you think about this.
Hell nah. Hell nah.
The draconian reptilian stronghold is America. And the major two energy points that they are using to manipulate everybody is Atlanta and Los Angeles. They are using frequency. Nigga, they are using literal frequency towers, nigga, to make you think this shit is here that ain't even here, nigga. What if I told you that it's two major energy power points in Atlanta and LA, that they big ass towers, and that if you was to cut them towers off, this entire reality would vanish from front of your face. You would see the real reality.
Wow.
That would fuck you up, wouldn't it? You couldn't believe no shit like that, but guess what? It's true. It's true. This is a holograph image you're all around you. And if we was to go to this point in Atlanta and to that point in LA, and it was to cut those towers off, my nigga, you would not see this holographic image. You wouldn't see those 5 holographic skies that's stopping you from seeing the real celestial beings and the real celestial body around you. You have no clue what you are living in.
Blue beam. All right, so that was another TikTok compilation video, man. What, like I said, every time I watch these joints, my mind be going crazy. Also, too, if you made it to the end, you a real one, and drop real one for real in the comments. But what was the craziest, or what was the TikTok video that sparked your attention and grabbed your attention the most in the comments, and let me know why. This stuff is crazy. This stuff is crazy, man. Hey, if you into this, I got a playlist on my channel, man, full of these TikTok compilation joints. You can go through and binge watch them and just have your mind blown. But till next time, self-love and positivity. Fire Squad, I got you and you know it. Hey.